and we find a curious mathematical exactness in the structure of crystals and cells. We see the wisdom that knows how to build a human body in approximately 9 months, fully equipped to start its earthly life, even though the mother hasn't the slightest idea of how to build one cell in that child. The same wisdom lies deep within the mental makeup of every individual born into this world. It knows how to keep the heart beating with mathematical regularity. It heals a cut by a mysterious chemical process that man does not know how to duplicate. It heals broken bones by arranging for the outpouring of bone cement that welds bones together. The doctor merely sets the bones, and this wisdom or creative intelligence welds it together. This total process speaks to us of an all-knowing intelligence behind the universe, operating through the universe. Observant men and women of all ages have acknowledged this power in different ways. But ultimately, no matter what you choose to call it, this power does exist. There is not a problem to which this power does not know the answer. This very same power has brought into being every cell in the body. It has created every successful life. People are beset by problems, but this power only has answers. It knows nothing of problems. Its knowledge is far beyond anything that man has yet discovered. It knows nothing of incurable diseases, poverty, lack or limitation. As a civilization we are proud of our scientific, medical, and technological discoveries. Yet this power knew them before the foundation of the world. All future inventions and technological and medical advances are at this moment in this universal mind or intelligence. The universal mind might be compared to an ocean. The ocean currents flow freely through the brains of men and women whose habitual thought is directed by some particular concept or idea. And those men and women catch and register new ideas in line with their thinking. That is why individuals on opposite sides of the earth, who have never known each other, can come up simultaneously with the same invention, the same discovery or the same story theme. Each one believes he or she originated the idea, but no human ever originates. He or she merely tunes in on ideas carried in the one great universal mind. So, in step 2 we want to recognize this universal mind exists. Realize in step 3 we want to realize that the principle of the universal mind to be the principle of our mind. Science has proven that everything animal, vegetable and mineral reflects a pattern of energy. Everything is made up of this energy, and we know this energy expresses itself as intelligence or mind. We also know that this mind is creative, it has the ability to create. We are an extension of this universal mind or intelligence. Since we cannot be separate from it, we must be one with it, and share its qualities. This is highly important, since the universal mind is the creator. You and I are the co-creators. This universal mind expresses itself through each individual, so essentially we are all using the one universal mind. Just like air, there isn't my air and your air, there is just air, and we are each individually using the air to breathe at the very same time. The same thing is true with the universal mind. There is only one mind, one intelligence, and we are each using that universal mind. Whatever we need to know can be drawn from that one universal mind. All the wisdom and knowledge of the universe is within that one universal mind, and is available to us. This creative intelligence or universal mind is the only agency in the universe that can transform thoughts into things. In fact, it is always doing that, whether we realize it or not. Because of its supportive nature, the one universal mind will transform our negative thoughts, or positive thoughts, into form or reality. This intelligence is absolutely trustworthy. It will never let us down. It is totally dependable, because it works on our thoughts. Our mind is an inlet of this creative ocean of universal mind. The individual might liken it to an electric light bulb. The light manifests through it, but is not produced by it. The intelligence or universal mind manifests through us, but we do not produce it. So in step 3 we want to realize the principle of the one universal mind to be the principle of our mind. Most importantly, that we are one with it, and not separate from it. Limited as our mind is, it is still part of the one universal mind or intelligence, and it is forever united with it. This creative intelligence carrying all the ideas is like an ocean flowing, though the brains of men and women. An ocean has surface, and it has depth, and no one can tell where the surface ends and the depth begins. The surface is a conscious mind, and the depth is our subconscious mind. The universal mind is expressed through our subconscious mind. What this means is that our subconscious is open at both ends. At one end it is open to the universal mind and creative intelligence, where we can receive wisdom and guidance, and it is open at the other end for input and programming by us. The combination of the two can create anything that we are willing to accept. Reason. Next we come to step number 4, which is reason. We have to have reason to create. We have to have goals and purposes to be creative individuals. In this step, you present your reason or creative purpose to your subconscious. As you have learned, there are two aspects of mind: conscious and subconscious. Like the ocean, the human mind is all one, yet carries within it two distinctively different activities. The conscious aspect of mind is the thinker, and the subconscious is the prover. The prover proves, and the thinker thinks. But the prover doesn't care what the thinker thinks. Its only function is to prove that the thinker is right. If we do not listen to our intuition, which flows from the higher aspect of our subconscious, our input will be totally from our environment. The combination of listening to our intuition or inner guidance, and then programming what we know to be true is what produces the best possible result in our life. It is important to know that, because your subconscious mind is creative, all ideas, impressions and habitual patterns of thought retained in your memory have a tendency to recreate or perpetuate themselves. This is a process of mechanical momentum, which manifests as resistance. Thoughts do not have power in themselves, which means that they cannot override your will, but new thoughts do offer resistance to change. For this reason, you may notice that resistance factor coming up when you decide to change your thought. The resistance factor is usually characterized by self-doubt. Self-doubt is the resistance factor beginning its struggle. The best way to handle this is to not fight it, but to just observe, and then release it. Your thoughts of self-doubt and confusion have no power in themselves, unless you give them power. If you don't give them power by feeding into them, they will be totally harmless, and they will die, because of lack of attention. The subconscious mind is where all the action takes place, so whatever idea you put into the subconscious and hold to be true will manifest itself as an experience in your life. Now pay attention. Your conscious mind, or conscious thought, is directive, but it is not creative. It has no power. It only expresses your desire. So the conscious mind can give only direction. The subconscious mind has the power, the energy and the action to make things happen. Understand that power cannot give direction to itself. It must have a purposeful disbursement. Otherwise, it is destructive in its action. The misuse and lack of understanding concerning the nature of the conscious and subconscious accounts for most, if not all, of the confusion, frustration and failure in life. For example, if you are straining, and you are tense, and you are attempting to be forceful with your conscious will, you are assuming that your will has power. That is a misunderstanding. The will does not have power, so nothing will happen except an overload on your nervous system. This is a typical misuse of conscious thought. The most common misuse of the subconscious is where the individual is unable to, refuses to, or is afraid to make a decision, which is the responsibility of his or her conscious mind. On the other hand, your subconscious cannot decide. It can only respond to decisiveness. It must be told what to do. It cannot and will not think for itself. So we, our conscious selves, must be responsible for making our choices. Often our choices are made so rapidly that we appear unconscious of the process of choice, but nevertheless, we are always making choices. This power of choice is one of the greatest gifts that we have. With it comes our ability to select the kinds of experiences that we want to have in our lives. I cannot overemphasize the importance of making choices. After you've made your choice, and told your subconscious what to do, accept that your subconscious will do the accomplishing. Always tell your subconscious what to do, but never tell it how to do it. It knows better than you do, because it is connected to the universal mind, where all the wisdom of the universe resides. Your word has power, and if you will speak your word with conviction and authority, your subconscious will act upon it without hesitation. Realize that what you have declared to your subconscious is already yours. You are not speaking your word into a void, but you are impressing it upon the receptive universal mind of the universe, and the universe will flow into the form of any desire presented to it. This is our reason to create. Release. The fifth and final step is release.